up.
Yes.
And I am throwing shitloads of money on the guy I know is going
Right.
to win. I can't believe. Could you believe that they could
No.
bet on pro fucking wrestling?
And while we're talking about pro wrestling, this week marked a major thing. CM Punk is very close to being one of the longest reigning world champions
Right.
ever.
Fortunately, he'll never be the longest.
Okay. Granted, he's not, but he's at 365 Monday, which I don't know how much of a work the numbers are, but it is 1 year because it was Survivor Series.
Yeah.
But the top one for modern age, before you get into like the Pedro Morales, sort of 1,000.
Bruno Sammartino.
But he's the top. But Pedro, it goes John Cena at 380, so he's going to get that number.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's Pedro Morales is like 1,400, so that's like the major.
Right.
It's a
huge gap. Yeah.
He could. I wouldn't be shocked if he beat Bruno Sammartino at the career this fucking asshole's had.
He gave you the date on
Right,
Raw.
right,
It's
right.
like June 25th, 2018.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, man. I literally don't know
Did you
what's
see what-
left for that guy to fucking accomplish.
I know. King
Front
Kong
page
Bundy?
of a video game. And you know how funny is it? His tattoo on his elbow is at 13, and it's WWE 13 just happens to be the year he broke through to be on the video game cover, and they used the font from his elbow for the game. It's like, and the ring this Monday, they had the X in the middle of it. He had his own, like, I swear to God, it's unbelievable. It's truly unbelievable. It's the biggest anomaly that I've ever known in my life.
It's someone. Yes, you're right. It's someone who so doesn't deserve it.
Well, no,
getting
he deserves it because he got it. I'll never say that he doesn't deserve it. As far as the wrestling business goes, I've been in locker rooms with him. I've shared locker rooms with him from the shittiest places to some pretty decent places. I saw him at Monday Night Raw when I worked it there. He deserves it. To get to Vince McMahon to push you, you did something right.
Sure,
you did something right.
It's how. Remember, it's not the accomplishment; it's how you got there. That
But you're talking about a business that rewards people.
I get it.
For fucking
Yes,
people over.
I agree.
So he should succeed there. He's a piece of shit.
He has successfully politicked his way.
Yeah.
He understands the politics of the wrestling business as good as Hulk Hogan, and he's on that level of playing the politics.
It almost
to
is
perfection.
better because his shape.
Shawn
he's in,
Michaels,
he has no
yes.
business.
Yes.
Like it's literally like the 1, 2, 3 kid being the world champion.
Dude.
Of his era, meaning like imagine like if you buy like John Cena's Hogan. Now imagine if John Cena or Hogan was feuding with the 1, 2, 3 kid.
Right, I get it. And he's out. He has convinced them. Not only is that, he's convinced them to retread storylines again, to do the same fucking story. I mean,
I'm sure that's not that hard. They like that. They have 5
know,
ideas
yeah.
and they just turn the mill, man. Yeah, it's
boom, they
right.
throw the dart
right.
and-
Number 4. Okay, the 4th thing. Okay, so come over here, guys. We did this one time with this guy.
Sure. It's funny you talk about the 365-day thing because I saw someone had posted a tweet that King Kong Bundy put out. I think this is really more sour grapes than anything, but I think he has a somewhat valid point when he says that 365 days is impressive, but in Hogan's day, he wrestled 3 times as much as
Did he?
As that. That's what King Kong Bundy says.
Because right now they're globe, like Hogan wasn't flying to Turkey and Egypt and China. And again, I'm not here to put over CM Punk by any means, but
I agree.
I've got to tell King Kong Bundy to die.
That's what I'm thinking, and that's the reaction I was.
And Hogan on 4th, punching Earthquake twice in the head and dropping the leg, it doesn't count. Okay, it doesn't count.
Right.
And they were not traveling anywhere near what they're doing today.
I don't know, man. That
They weren't global then.
Dude, they were but still they were working 6 days a week and twice on Sundays.
Okay, and now tie a 12-hour plane flight to that one way.
But you're also these guys drove between. I mean,
Okay,
I know they're not worldwide.
the idea is though
but
that you WB is a machine. When it was Hogan's, it was a company.
right.
It's 2 different things, man.
It is. I know he's comparing apples to oranges. I just wanted to bring it up just to kind of.
And now also Hogan, he has all those
started
stories.
a little bit.
He has all those stories where he'll sit there and do the radio interviews to set up the next town where he had to sit there and go, Toronto, I'm coming up flying. My big wings are flying over
Right.
he does that shit too. He's on he's leading the Thanksgiving Day parade this Thursday in Chicago.
That motherfucker.
You know what I mean, man? So I'm not here to stick up for the guy. I don't like him at
know.
all, any more than anybody else doesn't fucking like him. But it's called a fucking spade a spade. The guy's on top of the fucking world, and he's been there for a long time. But even like this week's, I like to read the raw reactions by the fans on the Torch.
I love that. Yep.
Because it's I like to have my pulse a little bit on what the real reactions of people are.
Because ultimately, if you're willing to write into the Torch, you have an opinion and you're pretty passionate.
Yeah, and like the guy was saying, like, sure, he's had a 365 year run or 365 day run but it's been a run I don't care about for 365 days.
For that, for 90% of that run, he hasn't even been the top story.
The guy on the Torch said, the fan on the wrote in said, the guys that he compared himself to, the Stone Colds, the Hogans, the Bret Harts,
right.
He tuned in every week for.
Right.
And he doesn't do that for this one. So he goes, have it for 10,000 days. I don't give a shit about you.
I've read that same one, and I was like, you know what? That's kind of the same way I feel. Like, AJ has been more of a focus than he has.
And I was thinking about, after reading it, because they had brought AJ up in the article, she doesn't wrestle. She's not the GM. She's not a valet.
She's just a character.
She's just a character.
And she's the number 2 character on the show next to John Cena. They focus more time on John Cena, and then it's AJ. That's the next one.
Can I make a prediction right now that I think you're not going to agree with? Within 5 years, Titus O'Neil is going to be a big star.
Really?
Yes. He's going to be a big star.
I've heard a couple people on the Torch start to chirp about him being talented, but he's got that awkward body and weird look, and I don't like his gimmick.
Doesn't, though. That Darren Young guy is the guy that throws the tag team off. He's like douchey. He's OVW personified. He's watched just enough tapes.
What does Titus O'Neil do that's not OVW?
He's different. When you look at him, he has it. Like
really?
He's lanky, but he's filled out. He's literally like 6'5". And he doesn't have. When I say lanky, that's the wrong terminology. He's lanky, meaning he's
got long legs and long
right, but he's solid. He's like a football player. He's a big dude.
He does look like a football player.
And I saw it this week on Raw. He did commentary, and he was schmumming it up with the guys. And when he talks, he kind of has that like Southern black guy, almost Memphis,
right?
Which they've never pushed that before. So he's new, he's different, he's fresh, and he also has a like almost comedic timing, but not on purpose. Like when he's talking, he just kind of has he has a swagger. He's got a black guy swagger, and when you hear him, you're almost like,
because I haven't been
okay.
I haven't been watching them. They're not on my DVR.
You haven't missed nothing.
Yeah,
you haven't missed nothing.
I haven't seen them because I know as a tag team I was bored to tears.
Okay, because you were also, if you were anything like I was fast forwarding through the tag matches.
Probably.
Okay, I don't like them, but anytime Sin Cara and Mysterio are in a match, I don't touch the remote.
Right,
I just watch them.
I agree.
They had a feud with them, and now I have to kind of watch them. And this guy's incredible. He doesn't do a lot, and he's not there yet. But if with the right attention, now he does have the black guy thing on his things, which in history, they don't really get a push.
Right.
So that would be.
He's not enough Samoan. He doesn't have any Samoan.
Yeah, he's not an Hanoi family member. Maybe if he fucked that family, he'd be fine. You know?
Yeah. Jeez.
Who's to say he's not? But I'm veering way off of topic. But one of these days, calling it now, I think he's going to be a big star. But I think they think Darren Young's the star. It's
really? Because that guy's not good.
But you know what? He's in the ring more. He has better offense. He does cooler stuff, but he sucks. And that hair, it's him.
Yes.
His knee pads. I hate everything about him.
His body is weird too. In that he's all lower body.
Yeah, and he's no days off. They call him Darren Young because he's like a fitness guru, and so he does like all these he never takes a day off working out.
Oh,
so they like that there too. Like when you're like that guy and you're eating salad in the back.
That's why Sheamus is as over as he is.
Sheamus is the biggest letdown to WWE ever. I'm sorry, man. He sucks.
More than Jack Swagger?
Well, no. I'm talking about guys that are on in the scheme of things right now today.
That are at the top of the card.
I watch the crowd. I don't watch the matches. I watch the crowd, and then I bite on the matches because it's like, if you have 1,800 people, that's really what I'm telling you. That Raw crowd was empty. There was
no kidding.
There was no second deck, and they never shot anything but this angle. And then I read it later on. A guy was in the arena that night, and he said everything on the hard cam was tarped off. The entire hard cam side was tarped off.
Wow,
that's incredible.
And because they've been doing good business, despite us hating everything about it.
The two shows that they just added, the Slam, and it's bringing $18 million a year into them
in advertising,
in revenue, in just total revenue.
Right.
So they're not. It's not, and the third hour of Raw is also added to that. It's not going anywhere. Like everyone's like, "Oh, the third hour is terrible." It's bringing $18 million in. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
it's not.
But again, I haven't watched it. I do follow the results. I read the results, just keeping up. And I thought it was cool to finally see our boy Dean Ambrose finally debut. We've been clamoring for him to debut for so long.
I still think Sal should come in here right now and suck our dicks.
Yes,
because he said Dean Ambrose is nobody when B nothing.
Yes. I remember that argument distinctly, and he was pretty animated about it. John Moxley wasn't shit.
Right.
He wasn't anything. He's not anything special.
That was his
special. That was his thing.
Well, there you go.
All I saw was one dog collar match, and I knew he'd be signed.
Yeah, and dude, the guys on the Torch were like shitting on Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins and they're like, anybody who doesn't know the Indies, didn't care at all about that. They were aggravated by the finish. No, they weren't, because the guys that don't know about the Indies are marks, and they were watching going, who are those guys? Remember when you're marks and new face? You'd go. Right. Who's that guy?
And then you run to their website, and then they tell you that they're NXT guys, and they provide you links
and then
to their
you're in on
NXT
it.
website.
Right, you're all in on it.
Oh, and now there's this NXT thing that I can go watch on YouTube and watch.
Right.
Oh.
That's why when I read this stuff, I want to go, well, which is it, guys? You can't bitch about everything.
I agree. I cannot say enough good things about how they have used NXT and the way that they have changed their developmental system. That they're on the right track as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
Looking at it, they have tons of talent.
Tons.
I watched a lot of their clips. That Bray Wyatt guy and with Brody Lee and they have another guy that has a big beard. They're going to bring that whole group up together. I'm pretty sure.
When do they bring in what's his name, Redwood, to be with him?
I agree. Right. All those big guys, and then you have a little guy with the beard.
And what's really cool about his body is he's not Hornswoggle. He looks like a man that was shrunken, like he took a pill and they shrunk him. All his parts are equal. Mm-hmm. He doesn't look awkward.
I would wonder. Because that guy doesn't wrestle much at all anymore. I don't see Grizzly Redwood on anybody's show.
And I don't pay attention to shit
so
anymore.
I wonder
anyway,
if he's not wrestling anymore or something. But I know Brody knows him because they tagged together in Chikara and stuff. Man, what a great fit that would be.
Yeah, it would make a lot of sense. And can you please get the Great Khali off of my television? Like, dude, he doesn't even... This week they squashed Primo and Epico again. This is the match. Khali comes out and he's dancing. And it's not dancing, it's... My hip goes to the left, my shoulder goes to the right, and then switch, and then here you go, switch again. and they just keep doing it, and he's kind of doing and then the crowd's doing it, and I'm going, what?
Why does the crowd cheer for him?
What is it? I don't get it. He gets in the ring, one of the Primo or Epico runs at him, he gives him the chop to the head. He fucking falls out. The other guy runs, he gives him like the Albert bomb to the head, right? Boom. Or something else, boom. Right. Pins him. They just go, oh, wait, I'm sorry. Take it back. Before the match starts, Hornswoggle's music plays. Oh, but good. Khali the whole time is looking at there's somebody else coming out. Hold on. 10 seconds before his fucking music plays.
This guy has no acting ability, wrestling ability,
mind you,
or anything.
We were trained by the same guy. I do got to put that. Donovan Morgan did train the Great Khali.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Beyond the mat, Roland Alexander. Khali's a star in India, like a major star. They found Roland to train him. So they brought him over, and Mike and Donovan trained him, and then he killed a guy.
Right, I remember that story.
That's from APW. That's when Mike and Donovan were training him.
Right, okay.
And then they had to hide him from Rick Bassman when Rick Bassman came up because Rick Bassman would sell him.
Sure, of course.
So they fucking kept it to themselves. Anyways, that was nothing. And yeah, so trained by the same guys, but for whatever. And Corey's roommate, so I have which Corey was my roommate, so I have like a shitload of stories.
Back on the old show, he's told some stories of taking Khali out on the town.
Hilarious, and the curry soup salad that he dumps on television sets. It's just really funny.
Remember he took him to San Francisco for the first time.
Yes,
to the gay district and played a joke on him.
Yes.
Of course. We don't know why Tommy Drake knew exactly how to find the gay.
Oh, because he broued everyone there. That was how he explained it. I brought everyone to the cast. It's 3 streets. You got to really look for it.
It was a joke.
Ribs. It's funny. It's ribs, kid. Fuck. And then, but little does he know when he pulled up, they'd go, Corey! How do they know me here? I went to school with that guy. It was always like a weird Tommy Drake thing. So anyway, Hornswoggle comes out, right? He has a bouquet of flowers, and that Rosa Mendez chick's out there, which, by the way, I want to hit her with a dead fish because she fucking drives me insane. She, speaks Spanish, and she knows a little bit of it because she looks Spanish. But, every time the camera's by her, she says, the cliche, por favor, por favor, and she tries to, roll her R's and stuff, and it's it sounds so not... Yeah, it doesn't sound genuine. Yeah, stop it. And you're like, that's not Spanish. That isn't even Spanish. And so every time I hear her talk, I want to go, just talk English. You don't know Spanish. You're not fluid in it. It doesn't sound.
She's like that other girl with Sarita on TNA. Remember when she would just follow whatever she would do?
What is her name? Rosita. Yeah. I'm like, what is her name?
They sent her to Japan. We're like, go get trained.
Yeah, well, they have her around once a year because her dad died in the World Trade Center, and they like to talk about it on television. That's why she has a job. Her dad went down in the World Trade Center. So. Yeah. Anyways, Jokes. So Hornswoggle comes out and he blows. She goes to smell the flowers, and what's going to happen when the girl goes to smell the flowers? Now, mind you, Hornswoggle and Primo and Epico and Rosa Mendez and Khali have nothing to do with each other. Nothing. Why is